You're listening to international investment advisor Doug Goldstein on the Goldstein on Gelt show, the financial show where we'll talk about how you can make the most of your money. With all the confusing financial chatter bombarding you each and every day, Goldstein on Gelt will give you the practical information you want and need about living a financially stable life. Here's your host, money maven Doug Goldstein.
Okay, we are back. I'm very happy to have back on the show with us Laurie Puhn. She has a BA and law degree from Harvard, and she is a couples mediator, and she's also the author of the national bestseller Fight Less, Love More, and of course she's well known because she's been before on the Goldstein on Gelt show. If you missed that interview, you can download it at goldsteinongelt.com. Laurie, pleasure to have you back.
Thank you.
I'd like to focus a little more on your book, Fight Less, Love More. The subtitle is 5-Minute Conversations to Change Your Relationship Without Blowing Up or Giving In. In the book, you talk about the importance of couples having not to talk more, but just to talk better. Is that the same as when we talk about having quality time with your kids?
Well, it's actually different because with children, time spent together, whether you're cooking, cleaning, doing errands, driving places in the car, it's valuable. It just says, mommy or daddy is here. They're present. For couples, we understand that we're busy. We have our jobs. We have child care responsibilities. So time is hard. But what we really do need is to talk better in the moments we have together because we can't always get away for a date night, and some of us can't afford the sitter or we don't have family nearby. So it's about saying the right thing at the right time in the moment. And what I found as a couples mediator, and I served on the board of the Harvard mediation program while I was at law school there, and I was doing mediations, many in small claims court, was the same thing with family members who ended up in legal disputes and mediation then, and couples who need mediation now all tend to have one problem. It's that they just put their foot in their mouth again and again. And you could listen to the foot like getting off the floor and entering the mouth. You could like hear it happening with something like, well, every time I come to your store, you're always rude to me. And it's like, was that necessary? You're trying to reach a settlement with your dry cleaner, So what my point is, when people don't know how to say the right thing at the right time, the more they talk, the worse it is.
And so why do you suppose that is, by the way? Why do they keep talking?
Because their goal is to win, and the person is only thinking about what they mean. They're not thinking about how the words are heard. They're also not thinking, and this might strike you as a little bit, surprising, but they're not thinking about values, because values are actually the underlying principle of persuasion that work out in the world, which is if we want people to respect us and like us and appreciate us, then we need to persuade them. And the way we do that is by showing respect and appreciation and kindness to others and cooperation. So when we're so busy wanting everybody to do what we want, we forget, what? People are there for us and people care about us when we show concern for them.
Okay. Again, this advice, like I mentioned in the last time we spoke, it sounds so logical. It sounds exactly like the type of things your grandmother would tell you.
Well, it is, but do you wake up in the morning and say good morning to your spouse, or do you say, like, honey, can you take care of this today? Can you get that today? I have 5 things to do. Right. What I'm saying is the good morning is the kind and respectful way to start a day. It's what you would say to a stranger. And yet we get so emboldened in our lives and that, well, my husband, my wife, she or he knows that I love them. Right. We know it, and honestly, I have so many things to do in a day, I can't also worry about sending that 30-second email or a 2-second text message to say thinking about you. Like, that's just too much for me. And you know what I have to say to that? It's like, okay, that's fine, but you have to realize you're going to end up with a bad relationship or a divorce. Because, people say it takes work to stay happily married. Well, what is that work? It's actually not that hard. It just takes minutes. That's why I say 5-minute conversations. It just takes minutes, maybe even seconds. But it won't happen unless you decide it. So even the best of us, even the most in love, I've said before, we're all on a downward slope in that what we come to expect from our mate, we come to neglect. And we have to do the opposite to make it work. Give a compliment a day. Look to say thank you for little things like setting the table, opening up the wine bottle, getting new toothpaste, putting the soap in the shower so there's a new one there, and you're not like, oh, again, the soap is gone.
That happens to you too? I mean, hold on one second. I just want to write a letter to my wife. Can you hang on? Dearest?
Sure.
I mean, it sounds so important. I better do it right now. All right, I'll do it. I'll do it right after the interview. But I really.
How about that? That's a better way to do it. But yeah, I mean, how about when you're standing in the shower and there's no soap there, and what is the feeling? The feeling is irritation. And what we should do in that moment is like, okay, I know I'm a little bit irritated, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put the new soap in. Mm-hmm. And instead, you walk out of the shower and forget to put the soap in, so you've been as bad as your mate. So, is soap really the be-all, end-all of a relationship? Actually, yes, it is. because the real-life obstacles that come our way, health issues, children's issues, and whatnot, are all things that we need to have a friendship and a love and a connection before they happen. And the connection is sustained through our daily words we say and don't say, and things we do and don't do, like the soap.
Okay, we are talking to Laurie Puhn, who is a Harvard lawyer, is a couples mediator, wrote a bestseller, Fight Less, Love More. Also, she was previously on the Goldstein on Gelt show, which you can download the podcast if you missed that at goldsteinongelt.com. She also shows up all the time as the well-known relationship expert on Fox News, Good Day New York, CNN, and many more. Laurie, I want to follow up on something you said a moment ago, which was that one of the issues, or two of the issues you mentioned, that people sometimes disagree about are things like health and children. And as you know, this is a money show. We're really a personal finance show. But I often feel that so much of my job is really working as a marriage counselor, not so much as a money advisor. Are people able to really improve their relationship through communication without sounding canned? A lot of the ideas that you speak about are great ideas. You should say this and you should say that. But don't you think that maybe the recipient of those words might feel like, oh, here she goes again. She's telling me that I look great today, or doing the old thank you for the soap thing?
No, because I'm definitely not one. I don't come from a psychological background. Let me put it that way. I'm not the therapist who says, sit down on the couch, hold hands, and tell your mate why you think he's horrible. But then give a loving kiss after and make sure you're staring in each other's eyes as you explain how hurt you were, by the action. No, look, that's completely ridiculous. I get the sentiment and the idea of creating understanding and empathy, but what's realistic is you're pissed off and you need to know, do I pick this battle or not? And I look at it not from the psychological, but from the mediator, the legal perspective. That's my mindset. And I've seen it work for people, even people who are more emotional, when they start to grapple with the logic. For instance, do you pick a battle? Well, there's one wise question to ask yourself, and that will tell you whether to pick it. And the question is, does this affect me? Mm-hmm. And if the answer is no, because it's your mate having something to do with his friends or his family or something random or his car, or her whatever she needed, then just no. Or if, she comes home wet from the rain and you had told her to take an umbrella, mm-hmm. and she walks in the door wet and grumpy.
You don't have to remind her.
Right. Do you want to say, well, I told you to take a darn umbrella, to which the response will be, well, I like getting wet. Okay, we know this. That's common sense too, but does it really affect you that she or he is wet? No. Just say, oh, can I get you a towel? Mm-hmm. Does it affect you? So my point is, it's not can, because the person who's now the recipient of basically getting a pass and not being criticized again is happy about that. And when you disagree with someone, to say, why do you think that, and listen before we say, you're wrong, here's what I think, that person actually feels respected. So, and I say, you give a compliment a day, so don't go for the tie and the new haircut, which all grow out and change, and they're about looks and can be superficial. Go for the character compliment. You are so kind and generous to your friends who know that they can call you and you'll be there for them. Or that was so wonderful, the way that you spent time, with our son going over the math homework, right. Or how you took your mother to the doctor.
So if you look at this from that perspective, it almost sounds as though I thought the answer to your question before was going to be, how do you decide whether you should engage in the conversation, would be whether you think you can win. And I'm glad you didn't say that, because I was getting a little worried. But it sounds more confrontational, or dealing with a confrontation the same way you would advise a businessman to go into a negotiation, as opposed to perhaps saying, what can I do to most improve my marriage now?
Well, think of it this way. In a business negotiation, you know that you're trying to have a long-term relationship. And so you don't say or do things that are going to piss them off and cause resentment and vengeance.
Right, so why do that in your marriage, right?
Why wouldn't we want to do that in our marriage? Like, why is marriage a free-for-all where it's okay to say really bad things, or to say something without a purpose, without a thought? You know, sometimes we let loose. Again, I'm human. You know, sometimes someone's going to throw something. It might happen. I don't. My husband doesn't. But it's not horrible when a couple tells me, yeah, well, he throws once in a while. Okay, well, what's he aiming at? Let me start with that. Curses happen sometimes. It's not the worst thing in the world. But if you can know when it's happening and have a little red flag that goes up and says, all right, I need a break, or I need a minute, or I need to breathe, or just recognize, you know what, I'm clearly not focusing on finding a solution. So I'm having the kind of battle that's going to become a revolving door, and it's not going to, and we're going to do it all night, and we'll probably have the same one again next week. Mm-hmm. So you really have to just make that choice. You know, are we fighting to reach a solution, or am I fighting to win? And those two things are opposite.
Right. I think that's a big thing that I face, or I see when I deal with couples in terms of their money, which is there has to be a solution if there's a money problem or a budgeting issue, or they haven't had the ability to choose a good investment plan. Either they're going to choose something that's smart, or they're going to really mess themselves up financially. So they have to work together.
They do, and you talk about the finances, and you feel at times like a marriage counselor. Well, that's because finances are a means to an end. There's no purpose in having money if it's not because it represents a goal or security, or because there are particular things that you want to buy or use it for. So the conflicts that emerge are saying, well, you want this, I want that, how do we find a compromise? And that is a communication issue. Because I've mentioned before, a lot of times people are not sharing what they're really wanting. They're not sharing their fears. And so it's unknowable why a person wants to save so much more than the other person, unless you talk about what it is you want your life to look like 20 years from now.
Okay. We've been talking with Laurie Puhn. She is a couples mediator and author of the best-selling book, Fight Less, Love More. Laurie, I really appreciate the time you've spent both times on the Goldstein on Gelt show. It's fascinating. It's also so important that in not just having a happy relationship, but all of the ideas that I think that you give and that you've written about really do help people to communicate better so that they can work through many, many of the different problems that they face in life. Once again, Laurie, thanks so much for joining us.
You're very welcome, and people can find out more through my website at fightlesslovemore.com.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Goldstein on Gelt show with money maven Doug Goldstein. Doug's weekly radio show is heard around the world, but if you miss it, you can download the podcast at www.goldsteinongelt.com. The Goldstein on Gelt show gives you up-to-date financial ideas so you can get on the path to financial freedom. If you'd like your questions answered on the air or off, send Doug an email to doug@profile-financial.com. It's your money for your future, so join Doug every week to build your wealth on the Goldstein on Gelt show.